Thank you for joining me for Storytime today. Can you guess what our stories are going to be about? That's right, pumpkins. I love pumpkins. So the first book we are going to do today is called It's Pumpkin Time by Zoe Hall. You see all the pumpkin seeds? All summer long, my brother and I get ready for our favorite holiday. Can you guess what it is? Halloween. And can you guess what we do to get ready? We plant a jack-o'-lantern patch. First, I turn the soil with the shovel, and my brother uses the spade to dig narrow rows, just 1 inch deep. Then we drop in the pumpkin seeds and cover them up with soil. We water them and wait for the sun to warm them. Before long, the seeds grow tiny roots and small green shoots poke up out of the ground. The shoots grow into vines and the vines grow longer. Every week we water them and we pull out all the weeds. Soon we see yellow flowers that bloom. The yellow flowers show us where our pumpkins will grow. At first the pumpkins are green and tiny. But they grow bigger. And bigger. Soon it is fall and our great big pumpkins start to change colors from green to yellow and then to orange. Now they're ready to be picked. We have never grown such big pumpkins. Mom and Dad help us cut the pumpkins from the vines. We gather them in a wheelbarrow and then we take them home. It's Halloween at last. We draw faces on our pumpkins and Mom and Dad can help us cut them. We hollow them out and then light candles to place inside. Now our pumpkins have become jack-o'-lanterns. This one is my favorite. Can you guess what we do next? We put on our costumes. It's time to trick or treat. Happy Halloween. So look, they set out their pumpkins that they grew. They got their costumes, even the dog. So, wasn't that neat? So you can grow pumpkins. Just like they said, they start from a seed, then they sprout up out of the dirt, and then the vines will start to grow. And then you see a yellow flower where your pumpkin's going to grow. Then we have a tiny green pumpkin, and then a big round pumpkin that we need to get all ready. We are going to we have a little rhyme and it kind of repeats itself, so I will show you the pictures and maybe you can read along. So it's pumpkin, pumpkin on the ground. How'd you get so big and round? Planted as a seed so small. Now you are a great big ball. Pumpkin, pumpkin on the ground. How'd you get so big and round? Do you think it was the sun or the rain? That helped, don't you think? All right, we are going to do one of my favorite books, and it's about a big pumpkin. So we have some characters in this book. You might see here, we have a witch. We might have a mummy. We might have a bat. These are all her friends. So they're not scary, they're just friends. Are you ready? Big Pumpkin by Erika, Silverman. Once there was a witch who wanted to make pumpkin pie. So she planted a pumpkin seed. She weeded and she watered, and after a while, a sprout poked through, and then a pumpkin grew. And it grew, and it grew, and it grew some more. Soon Halloween was just hours away. The witch thought about pumpkin pie and bent down to take her pumpkin off the vine. Well, she pulled and she tugged and she pulled. First she pulled hard and then she pulled harder. But that pumpkin just sat. Well, drat, said the witch. Just then along came Ghost. Big pumpkin, said Ghost. It's big and it's mine, but it's stuck on the vine. And Halloween is just hours away, said the witch. And she kicked the pumpkin. Well, I'm bigger than you, and I'm stronger too, said the ghost. Let me try. Said the witch, but she thought about pumpkin pie, and she stepped aside. The ghost bent down to take the pumpkin off the vine. Well, he pulled and he tugged and he pulled. First he pulled hard and then he pulled harder, but that pumpkin just sat. Drat, said the ghost. Just then along came a vampire. Big pumpkin, he said. It's big and it's mine, but it's stuck on the vine, and Halloween's just hours away, said the witch. And she kicked the pumpkin. Well, I am bigger than both of you, and stronger too, said the vampire. Let me try. Said the witch, and said the ghost. But they thought about pumpkin pie and stepped aside. The vampire bent down to take the pumpkin off the vine. Well, he pulled and he tugged and he pulled. First he pulled hard and then he pulled harder, but that pumpkin just sat. Drat, said the vampire. Just then along came a mummy. Big pumpkin, he said. It's big and it's mine, but it's stuck on the vine, and Halloween's just hours away, said the witch. And then she kicked the pumpkin. Well, I am bigger than all of you, and I'm stronger too, said the mummy. Let me try. Said the witch, and said the ghost, and said the vampire. But they thought about pumpkin pie, so they stepped aside and let him try. The mummy bent down to take the pumpkin off the vine. Well, the mummy pulled and tugged and pulled, and first pulled hard and then pulled harder, but that pumpkin just sat. Drat, said the mummy. Well, that pumpkin is not coming off. Just then along came a small bat. Big pumpkin, said the bat. The witch didn't say a word. She looked at the ghost and rolled her eyes. The ghost looked at the vampire, and the vampire looked at the mummy, and they all looked at the little bat, and they started to laugh. I may not be big, and I may not be strong, said the bat, but I have an idea. And the bat told them what to do. Said the witch, and said the ghost, and said the vampire, and said the mummy. Ready, set, pull, said the bat. The bat pulled the mummy, and the mummy pulled the vampire, and the vampire pulled the ghost, and the ghost pulled the witch, and the witch pulled the pumpkin. And then they pulled, and then they tugged, and then they pulled, and first they pulled hard, and then they all pulled harder, and snap! Off came the pumpkin. "Drat!" said the witch, and whoosh, it flew, and with a thud, it landed at the top of a hill. But then with a thump and a bump and a thump and a bump and a thump and a bump, it bounced all the way down to her front door. And then the pumpkin just sat. "Hooray for the bat!" said the witch, and she hurried inside to make pumpkin pie. Said the ghost. "Have some more," said the witch. "Couldn't eat another bite," said the vampire. "Fun party," said the mummy. "Time to go," said the bat. "Well, drat," said the witch as she watched them all leave. Then she went right back out and planted another pumpkin seed. Do you think she likes sharing with her friends? I think so too. Well, thank you for coming to Storytime today and reading all about pumpkins. Visit us again here at Midpoint Library. We'll see you next time.